Hello, welcome back to another episode of Driving Discourse. My name's Mike and I talk about all things driving and cars. Today's another episode in a segment about defensive driving, driving tactics, driving strategies. So you think you're a good driver. There's one question you have to ask in order to answer if you're a good driver or not. There are multiple levels of being a good driver. There's also multiple levels of being a bad driver. But there is a firm line that I believe determines whether you're a good driver or a bad driver. So answer this question about yourselves and answer this question about others to know if you're good or bad at driving. The only metric that matters whether you're a good or bad driver is simply, do you anticipate or do you react? That's it. If you anticipate when you're driving, you are a good driver. If you only react, you're a bad driver. Now, how good of a driver are you? Well, how good are you at anticipating what might happen? Try to think of it like watching a scary movie. If you're watching a scary movie and there's a jump scene about to come up, and you don't know it's coming, you're going to react to that jump scene and be scared and panic. Now imagine you're watching a scary movie and you know the jump scene's coming. You're not going to be scared because you are anticipating it coming. You don't panic. Anticipating while you're driving allows you to be prepared before something happens. Reacting means you only act once something's already happened. And in the world of driving, that's often too late. Anticipation gives you time, control, and options. Now you might be thinking, Mike, I anticipate I must be a good driver. I'm glad to hear it, but how good are you? How much do you anticipate? Because you shouldn't only be anticipating what's likely going to happen, but you should be anticipating what might happen. What might happen in the case of an emergency. I want to give an example, real world example. A friend of mine was recently in a motorcycle accident about a month ago. Got banged up pretty good. A van in front of him brake checked him, and he hit the back of the van. Now I'm a sympathetic man, I really am, but my first thought was, you were probably following too close. You didn't leave enough braking distance. If you're interested in braking distance, there's another video you can click on where I talk about that. The second question I asked myself was, what kind of van did you hit? Was he brake checking you, or was he just stopping abruptly for no particular reason? I later found out that it was an Amazon delivery van. That right there tells you everything you need to know. Here's a good example of how you can anticipate this van stopping. What are Amazon drivers doing? Well, they're delivering packages to a bunch of different addresses. The drivers often aren't familiar with the address they're going to. They might not be familiar with the street it's on, so they're not paying attention to driving. They're paying attention to where they're going, trying to find an address. They might be scanning, looking for an address, and as soon as they find it, they don't want to miss their turn, they hit the brakes. I felt bad for him, but I also thought, what kind of defensive driving techniques could he have used to avoid this accident and injury? Was speed a factor? Most definitely. Was following too close a factor? Could he in any way have anticipated this van was going to stop abruptly? I believe there was. Now this driver could have brake checked my friend, and it could have been just simple road rage, but I think my friend could have anticipated that this van might stop or act and drive erratically based on what the van was. The same can be said with someone who has an Uber sticker in their window. They likely don't know where they're going. They're looking for directions. They're looking for addresses. They're not paying attention to you. So they might hit the brakes. They might turn without signaling all of a sudden. Even cab drivers might be doing the same thing, as professional of drivers as cabbies are. So that's one example of how anticipating what might happen can help avoid an accident. Anticipation isn't just to avoid accidents. It can also be just to improve driving efficiency. And I don't mean miles per gallon efficiency. What I mean is smooth, controlled, easy, effortless driving. Say you're driving on the highway, as I am now, and it's 2 lanes. I'm in the travel lane, there's cars in the passing lane passing me. I know there's an exit coming up ahead. Quite a popular exit where a lot of people exit the highway. So I'm anticipating that cars that are passing me might be trying to get in front of me and then need to get into my lane in order to take that exit. They might not, but there's a good chance that they will. So even though these cars don't have a turn signal on, I'm anticipating at any time one of them might cut in front of me, try and make the exit. And if it doesn't happen, great, I don't have to do anything. But if it does happen, I don't have to react to it. I've already pre-reacted in my mind. I know what I would do. Here's an example of anticipating that can make you really frustrated when what you think is going to happen doesn't happen. You're driving through your neighborhood, there's a crosswalk ahead, you see a pedestrian. They're not at the crosswalk, but they're walking on the sidewalk towards that crosswalk. I'm anticipating that this pedestrian is likely going to cross the street at that crosswalk, so I'm preparing to stop for them. I'm not slowing down, I'm not stopping, but my foot's off the accelerator, it's hovering over the brake, I'm ready to act should they cross. But what's frustrating is when that pedestrian stops at the crosswalk, looks at you as if they're gonna cross, and then just keeps walking down the sidewalk and doesn't cross. And you've gone through this whole procedure, ready to stop for them, and they don't. It's frustrating even though you don't have to slow down, you don't have to stop or anything. You're just expecting to. It's almost like they bluffed you. Have you ever been sitting behind someone at a red light and that light turns green and they just don't go? More often than not, it's because they're digging into their phone, and we've all been caught doing that, so it's hard to get frustrated with them. But sometimes they're just slow to react to the light turning. And that's the key word, react to the light turning. Why, oh why, couldn't you anticipate that light was gonna turn green and get going as soon as it turns? Not about you getting through the light, it's not about me getting through the light, it could be about 5 cars behind us. Everyone wants to get through. Good driver, bad driver. Bad driver sits, the light turns green, they go, oh, that light's green, I guess I can go now, and then they slowly react to it. A good driver anticipates the light turning green because they're watching the cross light go from green to amber to red. Well, there's a pretty good chance when it hits red, my light's gonna go green, so I'm ready to go. Light goes red, I'm ready to go. Watch, my light goes green, boom, I'm off to the races. So if you are sitting at a red light and it turns green, someone behind you honks, and you go, geez, I'm gonna get there. Don't be frustrated at the guy honking at you. Be paying attention, be focused, be prepared, anticipate the light's gonna turn green, and then go when it turns green. If you're a good driver and you anticipate things, you're never gonna get it right all the time. You're never gonna be able to anticipate every single outcome, it's impossible. But the more that you can prepare that might happen, the better off you'll be. Don't be a reactionary driver. Reactionary drivers brake at the last minute. They swerve aggressively to avoid some debris on the road. Oftentimes, people who are reactionary drivers, they're not looking ahead, they're staring at the back tires of the car in front of them. Someone who's anticipating, and as good as anticipating, looks down the road. You look up and further ahead. If you prepare for things happening 5, 6, 7, 10 cars in front of you, reacting them will be a breeze. Acting to it will be a breeze. The same goes said for a light turning green as a light turning red. If you're driving through an intersection, you have a green light, and you see the pedestrian timer for the same way, and it's down to 3 seconds. Well, it's a good chance that your light is going to turn amber and red in 3 seconds. So you can anticipate that and prepare to slow down and come to a stop. So when that light changes, you can act immediately. A reactionary driver doesn't pay attention to these things. They drive in la-la land until the light turns red, and then they slam on the brakes. That really is the hard line metric between a good driver and a bad driver. Do you react to things and panic, or do you anticipate? Good drivers are smooth drivers because they're constantly aware, constantly anticipating. They're calm, cool, collect, because they're prepared for what is happening and what might happen. So do you react, or do you read the road and anticipate? Are you a good driver? Comment below if you think you are. We'll get into further ways on how to get better at anticipating and how to get away from reacting. I really appreciate you guys watching my video. If you got any value or entertainment out of it, please like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you next time. Talk to you soon.